I found some of the absolute best mixes you can make for herbs in Schedule 1, and today I'm going to share those with you. But first, we need to demystify this whole mixing system, because in order for you to understand why the mixes I'm going to share with you today are the best, you need to understand how the system works. Starting with the fact that there is no limit to how many times you can mix something or how many ingredients you can mix into something. Doesn't matter whether it's the specifics that we're talking about today with this video only covering herbs or any of the other different substances that are in the game. You can mix for basically ever. The limiting factor for mixing is the amount of effects that can be on any given item, and that limit is 8. You cannot have more than 8 effects on an item. This is controlled by the way that the different substances that you mix together interact with each other. Different effects override other effects, and some effects cannot exist if an effect is already present. This is why when you're creating complex mixtures, you can sometimes end up with results that you have gotten when you started with a completely different set of substances. Let's take a quick look at an example of one of these effects to give you an idea of how complex this system can be. The cyclopean effect, which is considered a positive effect, can transform to foggy with flu medicine if cyclopean is present and foggy is not. It can also transform into thought-provoking with a banana if it's present and thought-provoking is not. Foggy can transform to cyclopean if you use the Coke and foggy is present, but cyclopean is not present. Energizing can also transform into this effect with the mega bean if it is present and cyclopean is not. Thought-provoking can also transform into this effect with the same mega bean if thought-provoking is present and cyclopean is not. And every single other effect that is in this game works in similar fashion, just different things will swap out for different things. They all work on this mechanic of if one thing is present, do this, if not, do other thing. And there are a total of 26 positive effects and 8 negative effects. The difference between those being how they influence the final price of the product. Speaking of the price of a product, let's talk about how it calculates the price of different products. Each of these different effects has a value attached to it. The equation to calculate the price of any product is the base price of the product times 1 plus the sum of the value of the effects. So there are a bunch of hidden numbers here. First, let's start with the base cost of the product. It is not what you see in game. For example, all of the herbs in game have the exact same base price of 35. Only the positive effects have a value added to them. All of the negative effects are worth 0, so they don't do anything to add to the overall price. This chart here that I'm showing you on screen right now is the price of every single effect. So you can see at the top, shrinking, zombifying, and cyclopean are the top 3 highest effects that you can get on any given product because they have a base value of 0.6, 0.5, and 0.56. So if you had some herbs that had these top 3 effects on them, you would just add those 3 numbers together, which would give you 2.01. You would add 1 to that, which would give us 3.01. Then you just multiply that by 35, which gives us a total of 105. That would be the base cost of this herb. And this code was pulled directly from the game. You can double check the math here on any of your in-game products and see that the math will work out just fine. All right, so now that you have a general idea of how this system works and can understand why I'm about to tell you the best mixes are the best mixes, let's take a look at some of the highest profit mixes that you can make at each stage of the game along with the ultimate mix. Let's start off with early game and a single product mix. So the best one that you can do, which will get you a profit of 56 with an addiction level of 66%, is the OG Kush and mouthwash. That is the absolute highest profit you can get with a single item. But there is another option here that will cut into our profits ever so slightly and increase the overall addiction, and that is the sour diesel mixed with iodine. That will net you a profit of 53 with a 76% addiction rate. Moving on to double mixes, the best possible double mix you can get to get you the highest base profit is mixing the OG Kush with Coke followed by a mega bean. This is going to get you a profit of 71. This is the highest profit you can get mixing only 2 items. Now, the downside is it only has an addiction rate of 72%. If you're looking for a higher addiction rate, maxing out at 100, which is achievable with mixing only 2 items, with only a marginal bit of loss to your overall profit, you can mix the OG Kush with mouthwash followed by Viagra. This will give you a profit of 68 with 100% addiction rate. For the mid game, we're going to take a look at your best triple mix and then we'll move on to super late game. Your best triple mix is OG Kush, Coke, followed by Viagra, followed by a mega bean. Mix them in that order will give you a result that gives you a profit of 83 with 100% addiction. This is the highest possible possible profit you can get only mixing 3 items. That should cover you for your first couple stages of the game, allowing you to absolutely maximize your profits and make insane amounts of money. But that's not why you're here. Most of you are here because you want to know what the ultimate mix is. The absolute ultimate mix in this game would consist of getting the top 8 effects, so shrinking, zombifying, cyclopean, anti-gravity, long face, electrifying, glowing, and tropic thunder, using the least amount of resources possible to achieve that mix. That would ensure that you are making the highest possible base cost on your product with using the least amount of resources cutting into that base cost. And it saddens me to tell you that achieving a mix that includes all 8 of those is currently impossible with the current state of the game. But fear not, I did figure out how to get almost every single one of those with the least amount of resources possible minus shrinking. And to get this, you are going to mix in order: OG Kush, followed by Addy, a chili, energy drink, battery, horse juice, mega bean, Viagra, mouthwash, and Coke. This will give you glowing, electrifying, zombifying, anti-gravity, bright-eyed, long-faced, cyclopean, and tropic thunder, with bright-eyed being the odd man out, but currently there's no way to get rid of it once it's on there. It doesn't transform into anything else once you have bright-eyed on there. And using any more resources is going to start drastically cutting into our profit. However, there's a big but to that, which we'll talk about here in a second. I first want to tell you the stats. It sells for 176. The total cost is 56, giving us a profit of 110. And yes, I did account for the price of each individual flower bud, taking into account the absolute base lowest amount that you can get per plant, which would be 8. Later on in the game, you can get a lot more per plant very easily. It goes up to 12 just by changing some pots and changing your setup, which will increase your profit even more. I have a better mix that I'm going to show you that gives you the absolute most profit that you can possibly make in the game with herbs, but I first want to talk about profit and status effects for a second. Something that I noticed in game is that each person has their own individual preferences for things that they like. And from what I can tell, the more of those individual preferences that an item satisfies, the more money they're willing to give you for that item. This means to truly maximize your profits to just insane values. The idea would be not to mix any one high profit item, but to mix individual items that satisfy different people's individual preferences. You could also just double up, since you can have up to 8 things on an item. Creating an item that satisfies the complete preferences of 2 separate people means that those people are going to just give you ridiculous amounts of money for that item. Ultimately, this would be more effective than a one-size-fits-all situation, but could get out of hand very quickly. But if you're looking for what is currently the highest known profit that you can make off of herbs, the recipe is very simple. You're going to start with the OG Kush, combine that with the paracetamol, then a Coke, then another paracetamol, then gasoline, then another Coke, then a mega bean, and a battery. Once you are all done, that will leave you with a product with a sale price of $164, and it will have cost you $34. That's including the price of the individual bud itself, leaving you with a combined total of $130 profit. Now, I'm sure that there is a higher profit one available. I'm working on figuring that out. It takes time, and some of the data that I have that I'm using to run the algorithm to try to figure that out is somewhat inaccurate, so it's taking me a little longer than expected, but as soon as I figure it out, I will be sure to let all of you all know. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this video. If you found this video helpful and informational, please consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified when I upload other videos. And if you're looking for some more of my content, you can find a link to another one of my videos on the screen right now. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.